Matthew, some Republicans want to reveal even more about the highly sensitive materials at Mar-a-Lago. Take a listen.
Look, if you're going to take unprecedented action and raid a former president's house, well, you better have a strategy for unprecedented transparency. So I think we're all concerned about what might be in those documents. There were some were classified, some weren't, you know, what the serious nature was. But show us. You got to be able to show your cards when you're taking actions like this.
Matt, I wonder how you think these demands for transparency are working out so far for Trump and his inner circle.
Well, the first thing I want to say is that the idea that they keep talking about the unprecedented actions of the Justice Department, the reason why they had unprecedented actions of the Justice Department was because of an unprecedented action of a former president and what he did with these documents and what he's ongoing done, putting the country at risk in so many different ways. I actually think this seems to me the weakest part of their argument. They keep demanding transparency and what's going to happen, which has happened already. The more things are put out, the worse it is for President Trump. Now, maybe people like Chris Sununu and others have some sort of bank shot strategy that they think they can say this and then it'll hurt Trump more and Trump will disappear, because many Republicans know that the most dangerous thing that can happen in this election, the next election, is Donald Trump to stand in the middle of it. So maybe they want to do this in order to weaken former President Trump's position in this. But the Republicans have no real response in this. The best response is to basically criticize the president, but far too many of them are too afraid of the former president to do that. And they're afraid of the former president because they're afraid of their own voters who will take it out on them.
I mean, Melissa, in addition to complaining about this purported lack of transparency, you also have conservatives complaining about the number of redactions in the unsealed affidavit. Your thoughts?
I mean, I wasn't surprised to see the number of redactions. It's typically the case when an affidavit like this is released. And again, it is quite unorthodox to release an affidavit like this in advance of any kind of criminal investigation. You have to have redactions. If there's information that comes from the grand jury, that has to be redacted here, because the information contained in the affidavit detailed certain classified documents and also human operatives. It makes sense that they were likely to be redacted. Further, the witnesses that the FBI relied on to make out this affidavit of probable cause are likely sources that are close to the former president. And we've already discussed the prospect of possible witness tampering or retaliation or even threats against these witnesses. So it makes sense that all of this information was redacted. I wasn't surprised at all. I find it baffling that this is regarded as something that is not transparent, given how much else we learned in the affidavit.
Yeah, absolutely. Luke, what did the affidavit reveal about the Justice Department's timeline here?
Right. Well, so, you know, President Trump and some of his aides have been saying for a while, why didn't they just ask for the documents back? We would have given them to them. And what I think you saw here from this affidavit was more evidence. You know, we've been reporting this, other outlets, about just what lengths the archives went to first and then the Justice Department went to second to try to get these very sensitive, top secret documents back. I mean, we're talking about about 20 months here. They tried to get these documents back, site visits, subpoenas, repeated requests, starting out pretty politely and collegial and then escalating over time until finally, from the Justice Department's own statements, they felt they had no choice but to go in and get these documents back because they knew they could risk the country's national security. And so, you know, I think what we saw here, especially with that, and I want to mention again, the human sources that could have been at risk, according to this affidavit, you know, I really feel like they felt like they had no other choice but to go in there and get them back via a search warrant.